Hare Krishna.
Krishna.
So very happy Narsimha Chaturdashi to all of you. This is a wonderful occasion today, very auspicious occasion. Whenever the Lord appears, it's such an amazing day. And when the Lord appears, He appears mainly for His devotees. So that means for all of us. Because of His love for all of us, He appears. So for devotees, it is a very special day. And we are very fortunate that we are able to celebrate this particular occasion. Now, today there are many people around the world, they don't even know that it is a Lord's Appearance Day. But we are fortunate that we know that it is Lord's Appearance Day and we are able to celebrate that. Now, especially Lord Narsimhadev is very, very dear to all the devotees. Why? Because if you ask anyone in Krishna consciousness what they have learned after learning to sing Hare Krishna Mahamantra, the answer will always be that it is Narasimha Arati. It's so wonderful, it is so melodious that all the children, even adults, they also learn this Arati first. As soon as they have learned Hare Krishna Mahamantra, the next thing that they learn is singing the Narasimha prayer. So it is such a wonderful connection that we have with Lord Narasimhadev. And any time the devotees have any difficulty in their life, they always remember Lord Narasimhadev for their protection. Whether it is a protection required for their own body or the protection required for their bhakti, they always remember Lord Narasimhadev. So let us celebrate this Narasimhadev in our lockdown. It is a bit unfortunate in a way that we are not able to come together and do wonderful kirtan, nice aarti together, but we will do everything online today. So let us start with this prayer for invoking auspiciousness. Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swamin Iti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So I can see some new attendees here. So I can see Anamol Thapa.
That is from Palmerston.
That's from Anmol Prabhu from Palmerston North. Then Govind. Govidampati Prabhu had joined. Oh, Hare Krishna, Govidampati Prabhu, Hare Krishna. So Jasveer, welcome back. You joined again.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Sumedha. Sumeha.
Yeah, I attended earlier.
I'm muted.
You're muted, Prabhuji.
He was friend.
Whose friend? Sumeha?
I mean, that's my daughter name.
Okay.
I used her account, it seems like, because my other one is not working. So.
Okay. What is your name, Prabhuji?
This is Ravi.
Ravi, oh, yes.
I attended earlier, yeah.
Yes. And I had seen earlier Rasamandala Prabhu.
He came and I don't know what happened.
Okay. All right. Fine. Okay, just a minute. I have to stop the share and start again. Okay. So this is wonderful day, as I was saying earlier. So happy Narasimha Chaturdashi to all of you. I spoke about Narasimha Chaturdashi a little bit as soon as we joined. So today, it's such a wonderful occasion for the love that the Lord has for his devotees. He has appeared. And he has appeared in this special form of half lion, half man form. And it was today. So we are all remembering that how the Lord loves his devotees on this special day. And so we will see this pastime, how Narsimhadev appeared. So Narsimha Bhagwan ki jai.
Jai.
So till now we have covered a part of the pastime. So we will continue that pastime, but let's try to understand what were some of the lessons that we learned yesterday. So anyone who remembers what we covered yesterday? Pundarikaksha Prabhu?
That if you don't control your senses, you won't be satisfied.
And how do you get satisfied then?
You have to control your senses.
Yes. That's the right answer. Mallika?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
So we've learned that Hiranyakashipu was a slave of his own senses, and that's because he couldn't control his own senses.
Yes. So he was controlling everyone, but he couldn't control his own senses. And because of that, he became slave of his own senses. Ramakrishna Prabhu?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. By worshipping Supreme Lord, our desires will be purified. So you told Drumara's story.
Yes.
Yep. You
And
mentioned about
yeah, and in comparison, we saw that Hiranyakashipu prayed to other devatas like
Lord
Lord Brahma,
Yeah.
and his desire was not purified. He remained on the material platform, and that is why it is important to understand that we should be worshipping the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Babu Prabhu?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. What kind of stuck out for me was the Lord appeared to both in the same form for both of the extreme people. One who purely believed in just bhakti and stuff like that, like Prahlad Maharaj, and to Hiranyakashipu as well. I never knew that even he got liberated because of that. So it is the reciprocation that I understood, that how you have a relationship with God and he reciprocates exactly in the same way. So it's all in our hands and in one way. So that was very fantastic. And they were like so many lessons, I can't really put it in words. And there was another one about...
so let's give chance to others as well, Babu Prabhu.
Oh, sorry. Carry
Okay.
on. Hare Krishna.
Yeah. Deepna?
Hare Krishna Prabhu, we learned that one who dedicated his life to Krishna Bhakti through 9 process of the Bhakti is the most learned one.
Absolutely,
and
very
that
good.
includes reciting, lotus worshipping of Lord, lotus field chanting.
Yes, 9 devotional processes. So that was the main important point yesterday, that who is the most learned person. So as per Prahlad Maharaj, the person who is actually doing the process of bhakti for the Supreme Personality of Godhead, he is the most learned person. And for our benefit, he has explained what are the 9 ways that we can do the devotional service. These are also called Navavidha Bhakti. And those processes we saw yesterday: Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu Smaranam, Pada Sevanam, Archanam, Vandanam, Dasyam, Sakhyam, Atmanivedanam. Okay. Sandeep Prabhu?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. We should not pray to God with a mindset of becoming a God, but we should pray to God in a mindset of doing service to the God.
Excellent. Okay, so we will move on from here. Thank you very much. So many of the lessons that we covered, you have already covered. So yesterday we were talking about Hiranyakashipu. He started his austerity. The fire started coming from his head. The devatas were having problem, so they went to Brahma for protection. Brahmaji went and gave lots of boons to Hiranyakashipu. He used all the boons to conquer the three worlds. His son Prahlad was completely different from him. He was a saintly devotee. When Hiranyakashipu asked Prahlad, what is the best subject that you have learned? he said, take shelter of Hari by going into into the forest, and that is how your all the anxieties will be gone. So he chastised Prahlad and his teachers, and the teachers again trained him and presented Prahlad to Hiranyakashipu, thinking that now he will answer properly. So Hiranyakashipu asked again, what is the best knowledge that you have received till now? So Prahlad said that Shravanam Kirtanam Vishnu Smaranam that we talked about just now. And he said that these 9 processes of devotional service, if one is using those, if one is serving the Supreme Personality of Godhead, that person is the most learned. So that is where we stopped yesterday. So as expected, Hiranyakashipu became very angry, and he became so today actually the topic I have named as Rakhe Krishna Mare Ke, Mare Krishna Rakhe Ke. So what it means is the person who is protected by the Supreme Lord, who can kill him? And the person who the Supreme Lord has decided to kill, who can protect him? And that is what we are going to see, that Hiranyakashipu tried his best to kill Prahlad, but he couldn't. And Hiranyakashipu tried his best to protect himself from the Lord, but he couldn't. So we will see that today. So Hiranyakashipu is now very angry. He has heard from Prahlad Maharaj that worshipping the Supreme Personality of Godhead, to whom Hiranyakashipu thinks that he is the enemy number 1. So he became very angry on the teachers again. He said that you have disobeyed my order and taken shelter of my enemy's party. And that is why you are teaching all these things to my son. And your real face is now visible to me. Shanda said that we haven't taught this person all these things to your son. He has learnt it himself. This we never covered. And it is not appropriate for you to think about us like Brahmanas and doubt the Brahmanas. So Hiranyakashipu then asked Prahlad, if you haven't learnt it from your teachers, I haven't taught you all of this, so where did you learn this Abhadra Asati Mati? So he is asking, where did you learn this Abhadra things? Abhadra means inauspicious thing. Asati means very bad. So Hiranyakashipu is thinking that whatever Prahlad is talking about, this process of devotional service is inauspicious. It is very bad. And he is saying that where did you learn all of this? And in this anger, he is asking it. And Prahlad explained very calmly that what is real Abhadra Asati Mati? So Hiranyakashipu is thinking that process of devotional service, bhakti, is Abhadra and Asati. But Prahlad Maharaj is now explaining to Hiranyakashipu what is the real Abhadra Asati Mati. And then he also explains how to come out of it. So this is a very wonderful and very famous verse from Srimad Bhagavatam. Let us recite that. Matirna Krishne Parata Swato
Matirna Krishne Parata Swato
Mitho Bhipadet Griha Vratana
Mitho Vipadet Griha Vratana
Adant Gobhir Vishatam Tamishram
Adant Gopir Vishatam Tamishram
Punah Punashcharvita Charvananam
Punah Punascharvita Charvananam
Matirna Krishne Parata Swato
Matirna Krishne Parata Swato
Mitho Bhipadet Griha Vratana
Mitho Vipadet Griha Vratana
Adant Gobhir Vishatam Tamishram
Adant Gobir Vishatam Tamishram
Punah Punascharvita Charvananam.
Punah Punascharvita Charvananam.
It's very amazing verse that how fearlessly Prahlad Maharaj is responding to Hiranyakashipu. And the meaning of this verse is that you are saying that what I am doing, that is Abhadra and Asati Mati, but actually what you are trying to do is Abhadra Asati Mati. So he's saying, because of their uncontrolled senses persons too addicted to materialistic life. Prahlad Maharaj is saying, because of their uncontrolled senses, persons who are too addicted to the materialistic life makes progress towards hellish conditions and repeatedly chew. So punah charvita charvinanam. So repeatedly chew that which has already been chewed. So their inclination towards Krishna are never aroused either by the instructions of others or by their own efforts or by combination of both. So this abhadra asati mati is people who are actually living this materialistic life. They are too addicted to the materialistic life and they are moving towards hellish conditions. And what they are doing in the material world, they are doing eating, mating, sleeping and defending. They have done that many lifetimes before as well. Many lifetimes they have taken, and in the animal form, in bird form, in so many other forms, they have done eating, mating, sleeping, defending. But they keep thinking that if I do that again, I will still get some particular happiness. So that is why Prahlad Maharaj is referring to that as punascharvita charvananam. We have already eaten, and just like you are eating a sugar cane, and then you have extracted all the juice, and then you have thrown that out. Then again you are taking that back in, thinking that I will get some sweetness out of it. So that is how punascharvita charvananam is happening. And their inclination towards Krishna are never getting aroused. If anyone tells them, that doesn't happen. So from externally somebody tried to explain them, they don't take the path. From inside, in the heart, the Paramatma is sitting, he tells them, they are not able to take it. So from no other way that they are able to progress like that in the right path. So our goal, so Prahlad Maharaj continues, he says that our goal is to go back to Godhead. And if you want to actually somehow or the other come out of this punascharvita charvananam that is going on, there is only one way. And he is telling Hiranyakashipu that the only way is you have to smear the dust from the lotus feet of Vaishnavas on your body to get free from all this material contamination. Jai! And as you can expect, as Prahlad Maharaj is explaining all of this, Hiranyakashipu's anger is building up and up and up. And when he says that you have to smear the dust of the lotus feet of Vaishnavas, then that trigger got pulled from the hand grenade. And Hiranyakashipu just threw him to the ground and ordered to his demoniac servants that this boy deserves to be killed. Kill him immediately. And he gives the reason why he should be killed. He starts saying that he's the killer of my brother Hiranyaksha because he has taken the side of my enemies. So he is also the party to killing of my brother. He also gives an example. He says that just when a body part gets some disease and that is growing towards the entire body, then it is better to cut down that body part to save the entire body. Similarly, even one's own son, if he becomes unfavorable, he must be rejected, even though he is born from one's own body. So Rakshasas, they were only waiting. They were waiting for the order. As soon as they got the order, they said, yes, now we know what to do. So they started using various ways to kill Prahlad. They all jumped onto him with their tridents, with their swords and whatnot. And they started shouting at him, chop him, pierce him, like that. And Prahlad Maharaj is very calmly, very fearlessly sitting there, meditating on the Supreme Lord. He remembered, Nainam chindanti shastrani, Nainam dahati pavaka, na chaina kledayantyapo, na shoshayati marutaha. In Bhagavad Gita, Krishna has said that we are the spirit soul, and the spirit soul cannot be cut into pieces by any weapons. So, like that, he remembered and he thought that what these weapons are going to do to me. And just in the meditation, he remained there. And interestingly, all these weapons couldn't harm Prahlad. Then they decided that if this is not working, we'll throw him from the top of the cliff. They threw him from the top of the cliff. And Prahlad Maharaj was not trying to now find a branch so that he can hold that and save himself. He just meditating on the Supreme Lord. And the Supreme Lord protected him. Then they decided various other ways that, okay, let's throw him at the feet of a big elephant. And the big elephant will just crush him. That also didn't work. Then they threw him into the pit of all the snakes, poisonous snakes. But there as well, the snakes couldn't harm him. They did many other things. They gave him a poison to eat. They starved him. They employed some destructive spells, some mantras that they chanted on him. They exposed him to severe cold, wind, fire, water, whatnot. They threw heavy stones on top of him so that they can crush him under the heavy stones. But nothing. Prahlad Maharaj was not harmed even slightly. So Narsimha Puran, it is explained. So this part doesn't come now in Srimad Bhagavatam. But in Narsimha Puran, there is some dialogue that is happening between these demons who are trying to kill Prahlad and Prahlad Maharaj. So they ask him, finally they are so bewildered that how is it possible that Prahlad is not getting killed at all? So they ask him, how is that you are not getting affected by any of these things that we are trying to do? For example, they say that we gave you the most worst poison that is available in the world, and still it did not harm you. How is that possible? So Prahlad Maharaj replied to them, so you gave me poison, but the poison came from Samudra Manthan. Samudra Manthan means churning of the ocean. From the same Samudra Manthan, or the churning of the ocean which was happening at that time, from the same churning of the ocean came Lakshmi Devi. Lakshmi Devi is my mother because she is the wife of Vishnu. So if from the same Samudra, same ocean, my mother came, and from the same ocean the poison came, then in that relationship, that poison, that halahal, is who? That is my maternal uncle, my mama. So how can my mama harm me? That is why the poison didn't have any effect on me. So then they say that, okay, that we can understand, but what about the fire? We threw you in the fire. You should have been completely burnt, but it did not affect you. So Prahlad Maharaj explains that actually fire is the mouth of Vishnu. So when everyone does yagyas, from the yagya, that fire that is there, from that, all the ahutis which are given, that reaches the Supreme Personality of Godhead. That means the fire in the yagya is my Lord's mouth. So how can my Lord's mouth cause me any harm? But then we try to trample you under the feet of this huge elephant. How did you got saved from there? And Prahlad Maharaj says that my Lord Vishnu once saved the king of the elephant, Gajendra. So how can the descendants of the elephant can do anything to me? I am the servant of the Lord. But what about the pit of snakes that we threw you in? How did they not harm you? And Prahlad Maharaj says, you know Lord Anantashesh? Lord Anantashesh is the bed of my Lord Vishnu. And all these smaller snakes that you are talking about, they are all coming from him. So how can the bed of my Supreme Lord and his descendant can harm me? So they just got completely bewildered. Now what to speak in front of him and what to do with him? So they took him and they went to Hiranyakashipu. And they told Hiranyakashipu that we cannot do anything. And Hiranyakashipu is actually continuously getting all this news that how Prahlad Maharaj is not getting killed. And he is in complete anxiety. He's always thinking about Prahlad. And he is having this fear now that I thought that I am immortal. But whatever I wanted, it looks like Prahlad Maharaj is immortal really. I took so much effort to get this boon from Brahmaji, but it looks like I had to actually got it a tricky way. But Prahlad looks like my son is already immortal. And it is possible that he has come to kill me. And he started constantly thinking about Prahlad like that. And because he thought about Prahlad Maharaj, a very pure devotee, constantly, that helped him getting darshan of the Supreme Lord afterwards. So, Shanda and America, they came again to Hiranyakashipu. And they said, do not worry, he's just a child, do not fear. He's just a child. We will give it to him, give him back to us, and we will teach him properly for many, many months. And then when he gets trained properly, then he will forget all of this. So Hiranyakashipu had anyway no choice because he was not able to kill him. So he said that, okay, fine, go and try. So then again, Prahlad Maharaj goes back to school. So when the teachers went home, so what was happening was they started teaching him all the various things, dharma, artha, kama. But when the teachers went home, then Prahlad Maharaj gathered all the students. And the students will say, Prahlad, please play with us. They used to love him because he was so very calm and very nice and happy person. So they used to love him. So Prahlad Maharaj used to say that we will play when we are boys and make money when we grow up. Then we will worry about our families. And then we will be old. And when we are not taking care of our lives in this world, we will be sleeping. So our whole life will then be over. Instead of thinking I, me and mine, we should be thinking about the Supreme Lord Krishna. He is our father and he is very loving and caring. And by worshipping him and by serving him, we will become all happy. So we should develop our relationship with him. So then they will ask, so the students will ask, but how did you learn all these things? Our teachers haven't taught us all these things. So he said that I learned this from Narad Muni. So then these children asked, but how is that possible? You have always been here. We have always been seeing you here. How could you hear from Narad Muni? And that story, I'll tell you either tomorrow or day after tomorrow. So anyway, so he teaches them this journey of self-discovery. What the 10 sessions we do, the basics of all the spiritual knowledge. So the first 10 sessions are based on who am I? What are we looking for? We are looking for this eternal happiness. Who am I? I am the spirit soul. I am not this body. Who is God? We saw that Krishna is the supreme personality of Godhead. And then we saw that what is real yoga? How can we really establish our relationship with the Supreme Lord? What is yoga? What is not yoga? And what is the practical application of Bhagavad Gita? So what is the practical application of the spiritual knowledge? So all of that Prahlad taught to these kids. And he's just 5 years old. So he's teaching all of these things to his fellow students. So then children also decided, hey, what Prahlad is saying sounds much better than what Shanda and America are teaching us. And they started becoming devotees too. They started taking more interest in what Prahlad is teaching them than what Shanda and America was teaching them. And so slowly, they started to become devotees. They started dancing and they started doing kirtan with Prahlad Maharaj. And Shanda and America were noticing that earlier only Prahlad was turning as a Vaishnava. But slowly, he is changing all of them into a Vaishnava. So his effect or his association is very strong. We were seeing earlier that how association of devotees is transfer of desires. So this transfer of desires is working on them. And when Hiranyakashipu would come to know about this, he was so angry when only one Prahlad was becoming a devotee and Vaishnava. If he somehow or other comes to know that all of these students in the school, they have become Vaishnavas, he will just kill us. So thinking like that, then they bring back Prahlad to Hiranyakashipu and say that we cannot handle him. He is beyond our capacity now. And they started explaining to him that what he is doing in the school. So Hiranyakashipu becomes very angry, shaking with his anger. He says that, don't you know that everyone is afraid of my power? He says, Ishwaroham aham bhogi, siddhoham balwan sukhi. That is what in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna has talked about asuras, how they think. Ishwaroham, that I am the controller, aham bhogi. All of these things are for my enjoyment. Ishwaroham aham bhogi siddhoham. I have all the power, and balwan sukhi, I am the most powerful. Why don't you listen to me? Why aren't you afraid of me? Where is your fearlessness coming from? So Prahlad Maharaj is very calm. Prahlad Maharaj says, my fearlessness comes from Krishna. And not only my power comes from Krishna, but your power also comes from Krishna. So stop thinking that some people are your enemies and some people are your friends. Your only enemy is your own mind, who is making you distinguish between the friends and enemies. When you control your mind, you will be able to think about Krishna. Of course, because of that, then the anger of Hiranyakashipu grew even further. So Hiranyakashipu roared. He said, "Oh Prahlad, you are about to die now. Who's the controller of the universe besides me? Where is he? You say he is everywhere? Is he there in this pillar as well? I will destroy this pillar and I will take this sword and I will cut off your head as well. Let us see whether your Lord is coming here to protect you." And Hiranyakashipu started cursing like this again and again. He picked up his sword and hit the pillar with the fist. There was a huge sound that went all over the universe.
नमो भगवते नृसिंहाय नमस्ते जस्तेजसे आविर्भाव वज्रनख वज्रदंश कर्माशयान् रन्दय रन्दय तमो कृश कृश ॐ स्वाहा अभयम् अभयम् आत्मनि भूयिष्ठाम् ॐ श्रौं।
Hare Krishna. So, Hiranyakashipu broke this pillar, and suddenly this wonderful personality of Narsimhadev appeared from the pillar. And the sound of that Narsimhadev appearing from the pillar was so thunderous that was heard in all the three worlds. And suddenly Narsimhadev appeared in front of Hiranyakashipu. Now Hiranyakashipu is really surprised because he has been seeing this pillar for so many years. And he was having this firm faith that there is nothing in that pillar. And with that firm faith, he was breaking that pillar. Prahlad Maharaj also had a very firm faith that my Lord is everywhere. So if he has to come from this pillar, he is going to come from the pillar as well. So this amazing being that came out of the pillar, and Hiranyakashipu is really surprised. He couldn't tell, what is this creature? Half man, half lion? And he studied the form very carefully to figure out what exactly this is. And Srimad Bhagavatam explains very properly that what he observed. He saw that there was a lion head and man's body. His eyes were yellow like melting gold, and they looked very angry, and they were looking at Hiranyakashipu. And the teeth were very pointed. The tongue was as sharp as razor. And the tongue went back and forth as if it was a sword in a fight. And the ears were very firm, they were not moving. And the nostrils of his nose and his open mouth looked like caves in the mountain. And his body was so tall that his head was in the sky, and he was like a huge mountain. He had a short and thick neck. He had a big chest and a small waist. He had many, many arms, and they were going in all directions. And already they had started killing all the Hiranyakashipu's demon soldiers. And he was carrying conch shell, disc, club, and lotus, and other various weapons that they were in his arm. And Hiranyakashipu started thinking, this is probably Vishnu who wants to kill me. But doesn't he know that I am immortal? Why is he even trying? So Hiranyakashipu guessed that right. That was the half lion, half man in front of him. That was Lord Narsimhadev. He is also called Narahari, which means Nara Narsimha or Narahari means man lion, half lion. The Lord was so bright that no one could see Hiranyakashipu in that light. But still, the demon took a club and attacked Narsimhadev. But Lord Narsimhadev just picked him with his club, and he was hanging him like this. And then after some time, he just threw him. So the demigod started thinking that why did the Lord let the demon go? He should have just killed him. And Hiranyakashipu thought that looks like Lord Vishnu has been afraid of me. That's why he has left me. So he took another sword and his shield, and he attacked Narsimhadev again. Then Lord Narsimhadev, he was actually, there was a fight that was going on a little bit, and Narsimhadev was playing with Hiranyakashipu. But when the appropriate time came, Lord Narsimhadev sat down in the doorway, grabbed Hiranyakashipu, and put him on his lap. Using his long, sharp nails, he tore open the demon and killed him. He took out the intestine and wore them like a garland of flowers. Then he took out the demon's heart and threw it away. He stood up and he pushed the dead demon away. Then the many other demons who attacked who were Hiranyakashipu's friends, they attacked Lord Narsimhadev, but he killed them all with his nails. Hiranyakashipu, if you see, was not killed by anything living or anything dead, not by a weapon, but they were killed by Narsimhadev's nails. Now, nails are not considered living or not considered dead. And nails are also not weapons. So that means all the Brahmaji's rules were satisfied. Then it was not living, not dead. He was not killed on the ground nor in the sky, but he was on Narsimhadev's lap. He did not die during the day or night. He died in the Sandhya, which is between the day and night. So it is in the evening. He was not killed inside the house or outside the house. He was killed in the doorway. So all of these conditions that Hiranyakashipu thought that He has arranged in such a way that no one can kill him. But the Lord found a way to kill Hiranyakashipu. At the same time, he made sure that Lord Brahmaji had given the boons, they are also not broken. So Prahlad Maharaj saw the Lord everywhere, and Hiranyakashipu did not saw Lord anywhere. Even when the Lord appeared in front of him, at that time as well, he couldn't recognize him. He couldn't take shelter of him. But we, as devotees and followers of Prahlad Maharaj, we know that the Lord is everywhere. We know that Lord is in each and every atom, as well as he is in each and every living being as Paramatma. And he's accompanying the Atma always. And we should know that he is Vibhu. Vibhu means he's infinite. And we are Anu. We are infinitesimally small. We have actually same qualities as the Supreme Personality of Godhead. He is also Satchidananda. We are also Satchidananda. But we are not same in the quantity. He is infinite and we are infinitesimally small. And we are part and parcel of him. That is why we should actually serve him. Jivera Swarup hai Krishnera Nityadat, Krishnera Nityadas, Krishnera Tatastha Shakti, Bheda Bhed Prakash. We are energy of the Supreme Lord, and our job, our Krishner, Jivera Swarup, our main Swarup is to serve the Supreme Lord. So this is the reminder for all of us that Lord appeared to protect his devotees. Lord appeared to annihilate the enemies of the devotees. And this is all happening because of the love that the Lord has for his devotees. So remembering this love that Lord has for all of us, we should reciprocate with him in a loving manner. So we will see how in a particular loving manner, generally devotees celebrate the appearance days. So this is around a 5 minutes clip of Narasimha Dev Abhishek. So we are not able to actually do it in person. So this is a virtual Abhishek which has happened last year in Mayapur of Narasimha Dev. So let us take so on the Narasimha so Mayapur has a very wonderful temple of Narasimha Dev, and it is a Jagrut Devasthan, and there are many stories, and maybe if time permits, on the last day I will mention 1 or 2 stories of Mayapur Narasimha Dev, and we will see the Narasimha Dev Abhishek. Hare Krishna.
हरे हरे राम 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 हरे हरे कृष्णा
Nrsimhadev Bhagwan ki jai. Okay, so we'll stop here for today. And are there any questions or comments? We will take them. And then remaining pastime we will cover tomorrow. There are some prayers of Prahlad Maharaj that we want to talk about. And there are few stories in between which we haven't covered, which we will try to cover on the last day, which is Friday. Hare Krishna. Sannivas Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Normally, people say when Nrsimha Bhagavan appeared from the pillar, just normally we celebrate so many appearance days like Krishnastami, Ram Janmashtami, and a thing. We always think that they came from the mother's womb.
Mm-hmm.
But when Nrsimha Bhagavan appeared, he appeared from the pillar. So the question here comes is, so then it's very clear in our Shastras, Krishna doesn't need a mother's womb to appear. And then in Nrsimha Avatar, it's just clearly appeared in the form. So how we understand what to take from this very clearly from the... So
yes,
we heard so many times Nrsimha appearance, but here there's no mother involved here.
Yes. So we are never talking about appearance in a material sense.
Yes.
Even for Lord Krishna or Lord Ram or all the Lord's appearance days that we see, that the Lord doesn't actually appear just like how the living entities appear. And that is why it is mentioned, Janma karma cha me divyam evam yo veti tattvataha tyaktva deha punarjanmam naiti mameti suarjuna. So Lord Krishna is saying in the 4th chapter of Bhagavad Gita that my appearance and activities are transcendental. And a person who understands this, that my appearance and activities are not material and ordinary, but they are transcendental, that person actually comes back to me. He doesn't come back to this material world. So all these appearances, which, for example, Lord Krishna's appearance, though there is mother and father involved, it was not, the birth was not like the ordinary living entities that the man and woman come together and then through that the conception happens. No, it doesn't happen like that. The Srimad Bhagavatam clearly explains that the Lord appeared first in the heart of Vasudev. And from the heart of Vasudev, it got transferred into Devaki's womb. And then when he appeared just in the four-handed form, just appeared like that. So this is the process of initiation. So Diksha is like that we do not have, like everyone has the Supreme Lord in our heart as Paramatma, but it is not revealed, it is covered. So the Lord is covered like that currently. So when we take Diksha or initiation from the spiritual master has the Supreme Lord in his heart. He is transferring into a disciple's heart at the time of initiation. And that is how then the disciple can actually progress in their spiritual life. So similarly, our acharyas have explained that the Lord appeared in Vasudev's heart, then he transferred it to Devaki's heart, and then he appeared outside. So the appearance of the Lord is always transcendental, and there is no mother or father required for the Lord's appearance as such. Yeah, so there are many such instances. Anand Manjari is reminding that Varahadev also appeared like that, just like Lord Narasimhadev appeared. He just appeared. So we should understand that Lord's appearance is not material, like the other living entities that we see, all of us, but it is transcendental. And he really doesn't require a mother or father like that for appearing. Just like Lord can appear from the pillar, Lord can appear from anywhere. Hare Krishna. Okay, Malika, you have a question?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Prabhuji, you mentioned something about Lakshmi. So since Krishna is the supreme Godhead, so how is so what about Lakshmi? Is she a demigod, or is she again a soul which is a part of Krishna?
Yeah, it's a little bit advanced question, but I'll try to explain this. So the Lord is in Tattva, he's the Supreme Personality of Godhead. First of all, he is Supreme Personality of Godhead. Then for the Leela perspective, he expands himself into multiple. So from him comes the internal potency, which is Radharani. So Radha and Krishna, so it is explained that they are the same Supreme Personality of Godhead, appeared in two different forms only for the purpose of pastimes. And from just like Supreme Personality of Godhead, from Krishna, all these other incarnations come. Similarly, the consorts of the Lord appear from Srimati Radharani. So Lakshmi Devi also appears from Srimati Radharani. So like that it happens. And over a period of time, I'll explain further how things work when we cover more and more further topics. Deepana, you have some question?
Yes. Hare Krishna Prabhuji, when did the incident of Holika appeared in between all this?
Which one?
Holika.
Oh, Holika. Yes. So Holika was when they were throwing it into the fire. So at that time, they did that instead of just putting him on directly into the fire, because Holika had this boon that she will not be burnt. So she took Prahlad on the lap, and then she walked into fire. Prahlad remained fine, she got burnt. So that is when it happened.
Okay, thank you.
Babu Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare
I
Krishna.
had this doubt, probably related to this topic or not, I'm not really sure. Say half of my life is wasted by doing all the bits and pieces of our life. Now we get into the knowledge of Godhead and research and Hare Krishna and all that kind of stuff. Now, which is fantastic. Moving forward, like say for instance, if you take another birth, what do we carry from here? Do I have to again search for another guru? Do I have to again do all that kind of hard work to get again waste half of my life and then get to a point where I can get kickstarted again? Or how does that sequence of things normally work?
So in this life, or you're talking about your next life?
Moving forward in next lives and stuff, as I was told, in general.
Yeah. So Srila Prabhupada, a pure devotee of the Lord, he has given us the guarantee that if we follow his instructions properly, sincerely, then there is no next life for us. This is the last life that we have. So if we actually follow his instructions properly, then at the end of this life, we will go back to Godhead. And his instructions are very simple. He's asking us to remember the Lord always, and by chanting at least minimum 16 rounds of Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. And he's saying that follow the basic principles of regulations, 4 basic principles, and then associate with devotees, then eat only prasadam, and read the scriptures regularly, like that. And with these simple processes, if we follow the entire life, no matter when you start, it doesn't matter. Prahlad Maharaj started from the womb of his mother, and we will see that tomorrow or day after. But even if we are not fortunate enough to start from the womb of a mother, whenever we have got this path, that is fine. When we start doesn't really matter that much, but how we start and how we take it up is more important. If we are serious and sincere, even for whatever time that is left in our life, and no one knows how many years are left for all of us. So whatever time we have, the Lord is going to look at the sincerity. And if you keep coming to journey of self-discovery, I'm sure that you will progress in your spiritual life. And in this lifetime itself, you will find a bona fide spiritual master for yourself. And you will go back to Godhead at the end of this life. I have this firm conviction that if you follow the path that is given by Srila Prabhupada properly, I will go back, you will go back, everyone will go back. We have to just follow his instructions. That is the only thing.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna. Ram Mohan Prabhu from Hamilton, you have a question?
Why does Krishna take like different incarnations? Why doesn't he do all of his leelas in like the same form?
Yeah, it's a simple answer. For example, if Amitabh Bachchan is there, and always Amitabh Bachchan comes into various different movies and does the same role again and again, again and again, again and again, again and again, then who will go to see his movies? No one. So just like Amitabh Bachchan is trying to attract everyone towards him, or you may not be knowing Amitabh Bachchan. So who is the latest hero?
Allu Arjun.
Who? Who is that?
Rohit said Allu Arjun, the Telugu actor. Telugu hero.
Oh, okay, so if Allu Arjun does the same role in each movie again and again, no one is going to be interested in watching his movies. So the Supreme Lord is coming to attract all of us towards him. So all these pastimes for the sole purpose of attracting his devotees more and more towards him. And those who are on the border, they will also get attracted more and more by looking at these various wonderful pastimes that the Lord is performing. And from that, we will say that, oh, the Lord took this effort to come in this various ferocious form just to save his devotee Prahlad. So if I also follow in the footsteps of Prahlad, then the Lord will also love me like he loves Prahlad. And there is someone who is actually guarding me like he guarded Prahlad. And so from that perspective, the Lord appears in different forms and performs different pastimes so that we can actually get attracted. And then all of us who are not part of those pastimes, we can actually hear those different pastimes, and we just by hearing the pastimes as well, we'll get attracted to the Lord. And of course, I was just giving the example of the movies, but that doesn't mean that we should be watching movies. We should be happy in understanding the pastimes of the Lord, and that is the best way to do. Suresh Prabhu, you have some question?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. It's not my question. I think Aditya Prabhu yesterday he asked a question. How long Narasimhadev was here? I think.
So he hasn't gone yet. So he will go tomorrow. After the prayers finish, then he disappears. So Prahlad Maharaj offers him prayers and then he goes. So he's there only for a few hours and he's gone. Okay. Pundarikaksha Prabhu, you still have some question or comment?
This was my question from last week, but there was no time to answer.
Okay.
You said that as our Father, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, He doesn't give us any bad things, like I think things that are not good for us.
Yes.
But Dhruva Maharaj didn't have a very good desire. But then when he saw the Supreme Personality of Godhead, he got purified. But how come the Supreme Personality of Godhead still gave him that? He still gave him Dhruva Loka.
Yeah. Very good. So once the desire is fulfilled, once the desire is purified from Dhruva Maharaja's mind, then he did not want anything from the Supreme Lord. And he says that now that I have seen your darshan, it is like a jewel. It's like a diamond that I have received. And I no longer want these broken pieces of glass, which is this material happiness and whatever I was asking for from you previously. So I'm not interested in that. But once that is done, and the Lord saw that his heart is now purified, then the Lord still gave him what he wanted. So it is Lord's desire that the Dhruva Maharaj, being a devotee now, he has completely got purified, such a pure devotee rule the world. And then that way, the universe will be ruled by a very devotee king. And then if the Shrestha or the leaders of the society are devotees, then automatically the general mass of the people will also become devotees. So from that perspective, the Lord decided to award that, and we will see how tomorrow, how he awarded to Prahlad Maharaj as well.
Okay, thank you, Prabhuji.
Okay, Hare Krishna. So we will stop here. There are no other further questions and comments. So Shri Narasimhadev ki
Jai.
Prahlad Maharaj ki
Jai.
Srila Prabhupada ki
Jai.